By the way, he got so tired of people saying sorry, Carter. I told him to sorry, Carter. Stop it.
Welcome to My God, a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I review Georgia's 48-3 win over Tennessee Tech in the home opener. We talk about our experiences on Saturday and what stood out to us during the game. As always, remember to check out the newly redesigned MyGottaPodcast.com to see our latest merch. And you can follow us on social media at MyGottaPodcast. Finally, if you need help with your website or your online presence, head over to workingwebmedia.com/dogs. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. All right, so I think once again, actually, as we predicted.
Actually, as we predicted, yes.
Oh, man. You had, I believe, seems like you had a happy birthday over the weekend.
It was a good birthday. It was a good birthday. Saturday was basically the birthday observed, and at least for me anyway. My daughter had her own reserved birthday as well. She had some family came over, and then that was what we did. And then on Sunday we also celebrated a little bit. So like just me and her. So that was what we did. And then she had a friend birthday party at lunch. So it was a good split. It was a good split.
Nice.
Coach Trill was kind enough to lend me his tickets, and whoever was sitting behind your parents was kind enough to not show up to the game, and we just sat behind your parents, and your parents and sister all for the entirety of the game.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was gonna text you and be like, and say that might happen, and then I was like, he'll figure it out.
Appreciate the heads up, Jim. When we got to the stadium, I was like, Carter, just sit here, and if anybody comes, we'll move.
Okay. So you beat them in, it sounds like.
Yes.
Nice. I didn't even think about until I started seeing pictures like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do their tour to tailgating and hit all the tailgates. I didn't realize y'all were gonna do that, and then pictures started just flooding in. I was like, oh my gosh, they're here, they're there.
Yeah, we did the Vagabond tailgate because I didn't have a parking pass, so I had to park at the double secret probation parking. So so that's what we did, and as it happens, that put us on the path of the Vagabond tailgate.
Nice.
I got into Athens, got up a little later than I wanted to. Got into Athens about an hour later than I wanted to. Mostly because I wanted to sleep a little bit longer. So because I knew it was going to be a long day. I was like, I need to have my rest. So
right. And you got in the run too. So
I did get in the run. That was part of the reason, because I didn't want to run at 4 a.m. So
I know John Michael D appreciates that you got your run.
And did get the run in. I didn't think that the people would be too worried about it, but
fair enough.
I did get the run in.
Nice.
Got the run in. Went to Kroger to get the groceries as well. So I had to get some ice. Got some groceries. I did bring a contribution to the tailgate. However, it did not thaw out.
Oh no.
So it is what it is. I had some pimento cheese, but it was completely frozen, and it never thawed out. I don't know what happened.
Well, did you get the palmetto?
No, I made it.
You made it. Oh wow. Okay.
I made pimento cheese. I actually made it. I made it the week before and froze half of it. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's super easy to make pimento cheese too, by the way. It's just insanely easy. So I don't know that I'll ever buy palmetto cheese again. So.
Man, those are big words. Okay. I need this recipe so I can test this out.
I mean, it literally is. You just Google Master's pimento cheese recipe, and it's basically I feel like we're getting into speakeasy sports territory here, or dog bourbon social club. Basically it's just whatever cheese you want to use. I use a mixture of medium cheddar and Monterey Jack cheese. I like Monterey Jack, but you can just stick with all cheddar, which I'm pretty sure is what the Masters does.
Okay.
And then you got just some pimentos. I mean, they come in like a little jar at Kroger or whatever. And then you've got like, I mean, it's kind of however you want it to go. I like mine to be a little thicker, but if you wanted it thinner, you could put as much mayonnaise as you want into it. So just
Okay.
mayonnaise and then a little bit of sour cream. I put sour cream in mine. It's not in the recipe, but I prefer sour cream. And then there is mayonnaise, salt and pepper. I don't have it in front of me. I don't have the recipe in front of me. Salt and pepper. And then there's garlic powder. And then I usually put a little bit of onion powder in it too, just to jazz it up a little bit.
Proof we didn't plan this conversation. I totally could have had a graphic that has the recipe. Maybe we'll do that another time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that I'll do it again. Especially around
Wait,
Masters time.
yeah, I'm just thinking here, thinking out loud here. That definitely could be like we could do an episode where like you make that and then I make Ponda Famous bean dip and it can be like a tailgate recipe, the tailgate
The
recipe
tailgate
episode, something like that. I don't know.
tailgate
We'll see.
recipe episode. Yeah. It'll be like we're on Good Morning America where like, you're making your recipe or whatever, and then they try it right there
Yeah,
live.
yeah. The girl I went to high school with actually has done that. Totally off the rails, but she was like on that one day. Anyways, um,
That's
yeah,
funny.
man, y'all. I was definitely like, I mean, we had decided not to go just with as far as we were, to
Cream cheese.
Savannah and back, and then like we were kind of exhausted, and Lily had stuff going on the weekend. But then like when I started seeing all the pictures, I was like, definitely had FOMO, but I got to live vicariously through you and all the stuff you sent. So that I was having fun from home following along.
Yeah, dude, my wife gets on to me about oversharing pictures and stuff on social media. But like I feel like that if you're not there and you know people and you know where people are going, like it makes it less FOMO-y if you see what's going on. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
So I try to share because I know that if I were in your shoes, I would want to know. I would want
Yeah.
to see the pictures. Like, yes.
The best when I was like, I had seen a bunch of pictures and you were talking about the tailgates you stopped by, and I was like, Logan, did you see Logan? And you're like, yes. And I was like, yeah. I got all excited.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're like, man, you made the best out of that trip.
That was cool.
Um,
That was cool.
yeah, we swung by Logan's tailgate. We got attacked by a swarm of bees while we were over there.
Hmm.
Logan, P.S. is allergic to bees, so I was not aware of this. So,
Okay.
he survived. We did labor on. But it was a tough battle for Tennessee Tech pregame for us over there.
Okay.
Um, the bees put up more of a fight than Tennessee Tech did.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. That was brutal.
Um, yeah, but yeah, they had game day on over there, so we hung out at Logan's tailgate, and then saw Mrs. Booker.
Nice.
We did talk about some fairly heavy stuff. They live. Logan mentioned that they live really close by the shooting that
Hmm.
happened here.
Yeah.
And so uh, they kind of they know people that were affected by it, and so he said that there were helicopters over his house, basically, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was kind of interesting because I didn't realize that they lived that close. So it just
Yeah.
goes to show you how impactful, some of these events can truly be.
Y- Yeah,
So
for sure.
thoughts and prayers for everyone that's been impacted for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that was all the
Ah,
day we were driving. We drove down. That was the day we went to take Ella.
mm-hmm. It was definitely fresh. So after we hung out there for a little bit, Carter got to hang out with I think it was Amos, the dog's name was. It wasn't Logan's dog. I thought it was because it looks very much like Logan's dog. But it was not Logan's dog. Logan's dog apparently does not like other dogs.
Mm,
and
that
wants to destroy the all of them
I
is what
can
he said.
relatable. Sounds like Munson and Murray.
But Amos had a good time with Carter. Hashtag sorry Carter. Which, by the way, he got so tired of people saying sorry Carter. I told him to sorry Carter. You're so
Oh man, that is classic.
uh so anyway, we went from there. We went over to Scott's tailgate, which I had messaged Scott beforehand to check and see if they were going to be over there because I'd never met Scott in person before.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I think every time we go by there, it's just Tony in the
it's
past.
just Tony. Yeah, Tony's holding down the fort for the Waiting Since Last Saturday tailgate. Um, but yeah, Tony was over there, and then I looked up, and Scott was standing right there, and he was, we chatted for a while and had a good time, and then all of a sudden, Will walked up, and it caught everybody off guard because they weren't expecting Will.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it was great to interact with those guys. It's just, I mean, it's exactly like I told him I was like, listen, you guys, what you guys do is kind of what we aimed to do, is just
Hmm.
a couple of dudes just hanging around talking, and it's just natural, and it's,
Yeah.
this is what we do when we're not recording. So,
Right.
and that's exactly what they are like in person. It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I concur. I agree. They're good guys.
Yes. And then as it were, or as it happened, there's a neighborhood tailgate that was going on over at the Continuing Education Center that I didn't realize that we had so many neighbors up there until
Mm.
Carter told me that some of his friends were up there, and happened to see them at a distance, but we were kind of booking it because by that point it was like, all right, we're going to get to Morris Hall, which I have an update about Morris Hall in a second. Um, we we're trying to get to Morris Hall, and I was like, I want to spend most of my time up there, and then end up at Hug Dogs tailgate.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a whole lot of time to stop at their tailgate, but that'll be another tailgate spot that we can vagabond to because it happened to be on the way to Morris Hall.
Nice.
Um, but I did see them at a distance. I just didn't have time to stop. So shout out Chad, fellow alum.
Cool.
Then we were trying to book it down to into Tate and past Tate and up to Morris Hall to drop off the backpack cooler, which by this point was pretty heavy. And it was hot. It was so hot. Theme of the day. It is so hot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what that was where I did feel good about being in my covered porch with the fans going. So
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
nice.
It was so hot. Yeah, so we were trying to get there, but then we inadvertently absorbed dog walk because the
Mm.
gates were up, like nobody could cross the street. If you tried to cross the street at that point in time, like you were stuck. There literally was nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Um, we should have crossed the street earlier, then we would have had a little bit more freedom, but where we were, which was on the Tate side
Gotcha.
there was no way to get back out without walking all the way
All the
back
way
up
back. Yeah, like up, like all the way back, like up to O House probably.
up to O House, yeah, basically, and cross the street there. Which by that point we probably couldn't cross the street because the buses were coming.
Yeah.
But we got to watch Kirby walk right off the bus, saw Tate Ratledge, saw Delp got off, and then we also saw yeah, I mean we saw all the guys.
Did you see? I believe I got a picture of Brett Thorson from you. I thought,
We did.
yeah,
We did see
nice.
the boom and onion was there, and he was noticeably not wearing like a three-piece suit kind of situation. He was more like a hoodie and chill kind of guy.
Okay, interesting.
I think he might have had a sleeveless shirt
I
on
don't,
or sleeveless hoodie or
not to
something.
jump to like after the game, but or have you seen the stuff where like the whole like Carson Beck hates punters thing is like in the media now and like it's out there and like it was just like
Yeah.
Carson Beck talked about it. Love that.
Yes. I think they're just running with that branding.
Yeah, I like it.
That definitely panned out today, or on this day. So
Yeah, seriously.
after players, I was actually surprised. Players got off pretty quickly, and we were able to cross the street fairly soon after they had arrived. So, well efficient, well run dog walk, Kirby. My hat's off to you for getting those kids off the bus as fast as they did.
Nice.
Um, yeah, went up to Morris Hall, celebrated. Sorry, Carter, by that point was I have to operate in 4-hour increments of when he needs to have food in his belly.
Okay.
Uh, we got settled, had a drink, had a beer, said hellos, hugs, all the people, and then got him settled in, and then I was like, okay. I told Carter I was going to get him a pizza, so I'm going to get him a pizza because he didn't want hamburgers and hot dogs. So
Gotcha.
which I wasn't super upset about because I kind of wanted to get a little Italy. That was like,
Yeah.
we're trying to hit the birthday weekend here.
Yeah.
Hit
Yeah.
all the spots, do all the things. So I walked up. I had already ordered the pizza, which dog walk it hindered me a little bit there, but the pizza was still piping hot.
Nice.
So I walked right in. People were like, "WTF?" Remember the last time I went to Athens and I like totally cut that line.
Oh my. Yeah.
I did basically the same thing, except I didn't even talk to anybody. I just like walked in. I walked in,
Uh,
picked up the pizza, paid for it, and then I was in and out in like 10 minutes, and these people were just standing in this massive line.
that's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, no, it was great. If you ever order pizza ahead of time, just walk in there and pay for it.
Nice.
Which is what I did. Yeah, walked back down, and as I was arriving, Bobby was giving a speech for Anna.
Mhm.
It was her birthday celebration as well. So happy birthday to Anna Wilson, the better half of the Wilson clan.
That's right.
Um, they had a lovely cake. It was from Publix, and I did ask Bobby for his receipt, and he laughed really hard at that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
He
That
said he
was
should
that
have
was a
posted.
cold open. That was a cold open last episode.
He said he should have. He said he should have posted the receipt to trigger some people.
Yeah, seriously.
Um, and from there, we just had a great time. And then, you know, Greg and Rodeo, which ironically, neither one of them went to the game, which in retrospect probably was a smarter move,
Mm,
because it's much more luxurious there than it was in
right.
the stadium where it felt like I was on the surface of the sun for periods. But I knew there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting into the stadium because, first of all, we had tickets, and second of all, I wanted to be there for the first home game where you could have a beer, and so
Yeah.
I had asked my dad to go. He couldn't go. So decided that since you weren't there, I was going to have a beer with your dad, and Lou, forgive me. Uh, so I bought him the beer and I handed it to him on the way up. At first he was like, "No, I'm fine." I was like, "Lou, you're gonna drink the beer." He goes, "Okay." And I think everybody shared in it with him. Your mom had some of it as well. I think Melissa had some too.
That's awesome. And it was a classic city lager, as I recall.
It was a classic city lager, and you're wearing the hat.
Yeah, yeah. I did grab this hat in honor of that beer. Again, I lived vicariously through the picture of y'all cheersing. So that was a good one to receive. So
Yes.
the
Yes.
cans look huge.
They are the tall boys. If you
Yeah,
order a beer in the stadium, it is a tall boy.
yeah. I actually like zoomed in on one of the pictures. They're like 19.2 ounces, which seems kind of like a random size, but um appears to be what they are. So yeah. Auburn.
I didn't actually read it. I assumed that it was 24 ounce, but I
Yeah, it's
guess that's
19.2. Seems like a random choice, but I'm sure there's something behind that. But yeah, Auburn
yeah.
game. I'll have to wait until Auburn game. I'll get it then.
Yes. The good news is that you've had the beer, and then the I didn't I guess I totally blanked on the fact that the seltzer
Mm.
was the custom drink that you can get in the stadium or whatever. It was a friggin' seltzer. So Melissa was talking about that. She was like, Kim's asking me, did you get the seltzer? Did you get the seltzer? Did you try it? Is it good? Like, and Melissa was like, I gotta go get the seltzer for Kim.
So good. I was going all over the place trying to find it to buy it when I was in Atlanta last weekend, and I didn't see it anywhere. I looked in Savannah too. It's sold at select retailers, is what they're saying.
I'm
You
sure
can get
it'll
it at
be
the
out.
brewery. I know.
I'm sure it'll be out soon enough.
Yeah.
Um, it was it was good. She let me try some. She's like, "You got to try some." I was like, "Yeah, might as well. You can only get it here." Um, it was it was good. Tastes like lemonade, watered down lemonade, as most seltzers do. When basically like if you drop a Jolly Rancher into a sparkling water. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So it was like it has like a lemonade flavor to it.
Yeah.
Um, Not my cup of tea, but as they go, it's not the worst thing in the world to drink on a insanely hot day. Which, all right,
Yeah.
so we're at the stadium now at this point. The stadium was indeed so hot. Like I cannot underscore how hot it was. And there was at the beginning of the game and in the lead up to the game, before we got in the stadium, I was super worried. I was like, dude, there is not a single cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
And I was just anticipating that we were going to just bake all day long. But fortunately, clouds did develop, and there was a little bit of cloud cover from time to time, which was super refreshing.
You could
Uh,
really see it on TV, by the way. It was weird. Like when the clouds rolled in, like it changed the broadcast significantly. It was weird. It was
trust,
interesting.
trust me, it changed the experience
Yeah,
significantly.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
A couple next to us, they had some sunscreen. They let Carter and I borrow some. 'Cause
Yeah,
yeah,
needed.
which was nice. There were a lot of people getting treatment at the stadium. I can say with 100% certainty that the student section was struggling.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would
and
imagine.
and and the other parts of the stadium were also struggling as well because there were like when we walked up the stairs, Carter was like, "Dad, what's wrong with these people?" And I was like, they're hot, they're overserved, and they're hot."
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it could just been heat exhaustion. There's some elderly people that were struggling in the upper sections over where we were. If you went into the concourse, there were people just sitting along the edges. I mean, at one point, Melissa and I were just hanging out in the breezeway there because it was breeze. There was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
breeze in the breezeway.
Right.
But yeah, it was not a super fun temperature wise there, but it was great when we
Yeah.
were beating the tar out of Tennessee Tech.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Oh,
mean, I mainly wanted to hear about your day because there's not a whole lot to talk about the game.
I
Hopefully no
did
one
I
else
did
finds.
I did skip over not intentionally, but I guess we got sidetracked, but we got off the rails.
That's
Fair
okay.
enough. The Then we went down to the take gate after Morris Hall. I'll
Yeah.
come back to Morris Hall in just a second, but we went after Morris Hall, did our thing there, and then went to see Hug Dog, and ran into Hampton, which shout out to Hampton. Man, dude, he and John Smith are on the diet train, man. They both look fantastic.
Nice. Awesome.
Um, yeah, dude, Hampton is looking svelte. Um, he's definitely lost a lot of weight, and he looks great. So we got to hang out with Hampton, and I interrupted Dana Palooza for a brief moment. And she wished me a happy birthday, so that was nice. Um, Shared a beer with Tuck Dog, and he got Carter squared away with some Gatorade that was sorely needed. And yeah, they have a great spot there. It was super weird because obviously they usually have their tailgate set up at the Tate Center.
Yeah.
Um, it was kind of surreal being in Tate Center. There's like hardly any tailgating going on. There had
Hmm.
like tents to the side, but like the parking lot in front of the stadium was basically completely empty.
Interesting.
Um, I mean, it kind of had like, Twilight Zone vibes. Like, where am I right now? This
Right.
is not normal. Normally, there's like a billion people here.
Yeah.
And maybe that's by design. I don't know. I still have my conspiracy theory that they're just trying to get people used to not using that space because they're going to completely close in that section. But
Hmm.
it was weird. It was weird. Um, let's go back to Morris Hall. So Morris Hall. So they moved the tailgate, right? So normally
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were not right in front of Morris Hall. We were right just to the side of Morris Hall, which was like a kind of a vacant lot. I think wasn't it the Pike House, or I don't know. There used to be a um
There's the house that got torn down. There's something else there now. So
y-
I can't remember.
there used to be something near there, but they have it all blocked off for construction, right? Well, they
Yeah.
moved the tailgate under this tree right in front of Morris Hall, which frankly was a better spot because it was super shaded
Yeah.
everywhere basically. Um, but that said, it was right in front of I guess it's a dormitory. And so there was a bunch of folks that were coming in and out, and Rodeo said that there were a bunch of girls that were standing off to the side trying to figure out if they could come to the tailgate, and they're like, "Y'all just come over here to get into the tailgate." And I guess that in the conversation of inviting them into the tailgate and bringing them into the family, so to speak, um, they offered people to go into the bathroom and use the facilities at Morris Hall that were air conditioned and whatnot, which was a nice trade
Nice.
off, I guess.
Yeah.
And then in that recon, we discovered that the kids, the youths as they say, they refer to Morris Hall as Motown,
Interesting.
which is which is like so awesome now. We're heading to Motown, baby.
Nice, nice. Add to the lexicon.
It's added to the lexicon for sure. But yeah,
That's cool.
it was a good time. I'm also gonna shout out Kelsey. She I had no idea that girl knows ball. Like
Yeah,
I've never really had a in-depth conversation about football with her before, but Rodeo was talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, we need to get you and Jim on one of her TikToks." So I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, she does these TikToks where she runs down the weekly football. I was like, I had no idea. First of all, I don't use TikTok that often, but
yeah,
I will absolutely listen to her TikToks. And so I went back and looked at some of her TikToks. And it's like, but then he also said that she takes notes. So she has a notepad that she takes all of the notes from. And he was kind enough to show me the notes. I was like, oh my God, this is like a beautiful mind. Like there's just like notes of all sorts of stuff. It was so funny. I was totally thrown off by that.
that's
So
amazing.
shout out Kelsey.
Yeah, I didn't know she was doing
She's
that
got
either.
she's got a lot of detailed information on football. And again, just one of those things, Jim. We're gonna have to have some guests on in the future.
Right, right, right. Yeah. If someone would be available to record in the off season, pointing
Yeah.
myself.
Yes. Your dad also threw you under the bus in that regard.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, cool, man. I'm glad y'all had a good time. That's awesome. Like I said, I lived vicariously through you. I had a good time following one from home.
It was a lot of fun. Trying to think of if I missed anything. It was pretty comprehensive, but I don't think if we missed anything. Well, we didn't stay the whole time. Carter
Yeah.
was kind of. I told Carter, I said, "All right, this is the deal. We'll wait until 30 to nothing or halftime, whichever comes first."
Okay. That
We
seems
made it
fair.
close.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Um, yeah,
Oh,
we,
after the game, we had to do dinner, and I wanted to wait till traffic died down, and we went to Creature Comforts. Went to Creature Comforts and had some burgers over there for dinner. Also had some barbecue. There's a little barbecue joint. I think that you and I talked about this. There's a barbecue joint that's like right across from Creature Comforts.
hmm,
Nice people. The barbecue was pretty good, but the burgers were pretty awesome at Creature Comforts. I can't remember which. They had some kind of donut food truck that was there. That was also serving. It was like burgers and donuts kind of thing, but they didn't have any donuts, and I was like, "What the heck is that all about? How do you have a donut food truck? You don't have donuts." But the burgers were fantastic, and the
nice.
beers were too. They have a beer that I really hope that makes it into mass production called Alpha Hawk, which is pretty awesome.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah,
It's kind of
I definitely I've always got to go by there when we're in town. That's one of the things I like about breweries that like that do that, where there's certain things you can get at the store, but when you go there, you're always gonna be able to get the new stuff that they're trying out. So not all breweries do
yeah.
that. So I always like that.
I didn't realize it until just now, but they had the Golden Eagles, I had the Alpha Hawk, so I was drinking I was drinking the avian the avian blood of our rivals.
Nice. Nice. The Golden Pantry Eagles, as Dwight called them.
Yes. Also saw Dwight at Hug Dogs Tailgate. That was a nice surprise too, because he was at where does he normally tailgate at? I can't remember. Oh, he was at his Millage
He
tailgate.
was at Millage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we like I said, we just had a chill day, watched at home. Lily did her homecoming dress shopping during the day.
Mm.
So like in the first half, we were getting pictures from Lily help her pick out her dress. She went with friends. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Sat around and just chilled, relaxed, decompressed from our college move-in. So I do want to shout
Yeah.
out. I got a lot. It didn't like hit me the move in the whole like until I got home. I had been talking to you all day like throughout it and everything, and then like when we got home and like Lily went to bed, came into bed, I stayed up for a little bit, and it really hit me like, oh my gosh, like I dropped my kid off at college, like she's not here anymore. And so I was like, it started like I was like kind of getting overwhelmed, like oh my gosh. And then like I gotta say, Hug Dog sent me a text like out of the blue, like hey man, I know today was a lot, just thinking about you. It was pretty cool. So I told him it was very well timed and meant a lot. So uh, always appreciate that. Then I got a similar text from Coach Trill the next morning. So just thanks, y'all. Meant a lot. So it was pretty cool.
Good stuff. Yeah, I was definitely praying for you.
Yeah. It was a lot. But we've been getting FaceTimes, lots of texts. So day one of class was today. Went well. So
Did she make it to class?
she made it to class. Yes, she did make it to class.
Nice.
Yes. Last I talked to her, she was heading back to her dorm to do her homework. So good day. It was a good day. I guess we could talk about the game.
First of many.
First of May. I guess we could talk about the game.
I guess we could talk about the game.
Um,
Georgia good, Tennessee Tech not as good.
which is basically what we joked before hitting record last week was that was the only analysis we needed. Um, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, get the ball back, huge punt return by Anthony Evans, and then touchdown from Carson Beck to Dylan Bell in the first play. I was like, okay, so yeah, it's gonna be one of those. Yeah, that's what we talked about. Like, are we gonna have a fast start? Can we impose our will? And we definitely did that just from the get-go, which is what you want to see against this type of opponent. We didn't play down or anything like that. So I liked what I saw. It was a day when Carson Beck tied the all-time or the single game passing touchdown record. He now shares that with many other Georgia quarterbacks, including DJ Shockley, who enjoyed pointing that out on the broadcast. That he also shared the record is pretty funny. I will say I did flip the broadcast so that I could I listened to Scott and Eric and DJ for the second half because I was getting annoyed by the TV. Like what was it they kept doing? They kept like mispronouncing people's names and stuff. Oh, they kept calling Dominique Lovett. And I was like, I can't take this. And so I changed the audio. It really frustrated me.
They need
Uh,
they need Scott Howard's help.
yeah. So I don't know that offensively that obviously stood out. And then Etienne, I still need the pronunciation guide if it's Etienne or Etienne. I liked what I saw from him. I liked his vision. He looks pretty slippery. So that he was fun to watch. So that was cool. I feel like that's going to be a huge addition to the offense.
Yeah, it'll definitely change the flexibility for sure.
Yeah. And I think too, and I was texting about this with my dad yesterday, I think. The big to me, like the story of the season thus far is Arian Smith. I mean, he's our leading receiver. Not sure I really saw that coming. I know it's only 2 games in, but we're not just seeing him like run go routes and throw the deep ball to him. Like he's doing everything.
Mhm.
So that's been fun to watch. I also a little nugget there, and I can't remember where I saw this or I would credit it. He is only the second player in Georgia history to score a touchdown in like 6 different seasons, I think. Is that right? Or maybe it's 5 different seasons. Um,
Who is this? Stetson Bennett?
yeah, I guess it has to be 5 different seasons. But the only other player that I saw that had done that was to catch a touchdown pass in that many seasons. It was Rontavious Wooten.
Oh, Wooten, the Buck area.
Wooten the ball game. Man, I need to add that to the soundboard. Legendary. Yeah, so I don't know. That was cool. But yeah, man, offense dominated and then took care of business pretty quickly there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun game. I guess the tail of the tape is that they shorted us 5 minutes of game time.
Yeah. Yeah. And what we've seen, have we seen, I guess we have seen a
We
shorter
have seen
quarter.
that
Yeah. I know we've definitely seen like the running clock. But yeah. And
running clock. Yeah.
and I kind of got on that sounded on TV like there was some booing when they called timeout to kick a field goal at the end. Um, and I was like, when they did it, I was like, oh, come on. Like, really, we're going to call a timeout to kick a field goal?
I feel like in the conversation, that Kirby and I forget the guy's name, but the head coach for Tennessee Tech. I feel like in that conversation about whether or not they were going to do the shortened quarter, Kirby also added, if you get a chance, kick a field goal.
They're
so
they're
that I can chew their
yeah.
chew their ass out. Sorry, Carter.
Sorry, Carter.
I did get a lot of questions about manufactured adversity
Nice.
when I was at the tailgate.
Nice. That's awesome. I will say like it seemed like they had kind of a long conversation afterwards. I felt like it was like, "Hey, coach, I hope you're not mad that we called him out to kick a field goal." And like I said, I was kind of like, seriously gonna do that. In their defense, though, that was 5 minutes earlier than the game. Like in theory, there should have been five more minutes still. So I guess it kind
Mhm.
of is what it is. But
Hey,
whatever.
they scored their first points on us in however
Ever.
long. I
Yeah,
think we
they
had,
had.
yeah.
Yeah, we had shut them out the other two times we played them. So good for them. We did get to see Aguero start, which I thought the interesting thing there was that basically like that took KJ Bolden off the field as a starter. So we still
Mhm.
had Jackson and Starks out there with Aguero. And he looked good. So I don't know, everything looked good all around.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was not be injured, not clock any injuries on us. Which my dad had mentioned something that we had some injuries, but I hadn't seen any injury reports officially.
Yeah, I know the one thing I'm not sure about is Frazier because he had something going on with his like shoulder or arm
Frazier, that's what it
or
was. Yeah.
something. Yeah, like it didn't look good when it happened, but then I saw speculate again, this was like Twitter speculation during the game, nothing official. It was like, oh, it looked like it was maybe a stinger or something like that. So I don't know. We'll have to look out for that. But when we do the Kentucky preview, I'll see if we can find something before we do that.
Watch the space.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, here, why don't we hit coaches over unders really quick, just so I don't forget. We both had a good week again. You went 6-2, I went 5-3. So you extended your lead. You're now 14-2 in coaches over unders in the season, and I am 12-4. Waiting until the defense shows you, as you said, on the sacks, paid off for you. That definitely helped. Way to go, GP. And thanks, coach, as always, for checking those. But yeah, and I can't remember if this was an over or under or not, but on the special teams front, um, still no punts returned. So I know I personally was kind of holding my breath when he got his one punt.
I'm not
And I was like, oh my gosh, is this is gonna be so lame if like the one punt in this game against an FCS team they're gonna return it, but they didn't. Good catch. So
I'm not a mathematician by any
mm,
stretch of the imagination, but I feel that this is a trend, Jim.
mm, yes, yes. I mean, we're at
It
oh
feels like he's got a trend going.
yeah, entire season plus two games is wild. We'll have to go back and look in like in the previous year. Did anyone like when's the last time someone returned a punt that Brad Dorson kicked? I honestly don't know.
I mean, at this point, like, what's the longest? At some point, somebody's gonna have to,
Yeah.
like, that could be like an Aflac trivia question. Like,
Yes. Right.
who, what's the longest any punter has gone without having a return on them or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We've
So
got to be approaching at least modern era football uh territory record right now.
yeah, this is one of those like ESPN stats and info, like random things they pull out.
Right.
All right. Trying to think what else. Five touchdown passes, poured it on. So not a
Yeah,
whole
I
lot
mean
to talk
they
about
had
there.
134 total yards, which I think what was the total yards for Clemson? Didn't they have like 190 something? So like nobody's gotten over 200 yards on us, I think.
Yeah,
Total yards.
yeah. The defense is legit. And I mean, Clemson routed App State. I mean, they jumped on App State quick. App State, I mean, I know they're in a smaller conference and everything, but they're usually pretty good. They're a team people were talking about, could maybe get that 12 seed in the playoff. If they win their conference, which is still on the table. Um, and I mean, Clemson was all over them fast, and it was their offense. So, again, like you said, kind of watch this space. Like, think the Georgia defense pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take it. You have a lot of these teams. I tell you what I'm tired of. I tell you what I'm getting real tired of is the like Nebraska has got the Colorado situation right now. Like everybody's talking about Dylan Raiola and
Mm,
all that jazz. I'm like, dude, you guys basically beat a beat a group of five team.
yeah, yeah.
That's not very good.
We'll see. We'll see how they do when they get into their Big Ten schedule. Although I don't know what their schedule even looks like, but
Yeah, seriously. I
we'll
don't know.
see. We'll see. I mean,
I think
that was a
I sent you
beatdown.
the video. I sent you the video of the guy that was making fun of Dylan Raiola. I guess he's got like this this thing right now where he's like mimicking all of the Patrick Mahomes
Yeah,
stuff,
it's like
which
everything.
is
It's
which
like,
is so weird, so weird. Like I didn't realize that this was a thing, but apparently it's a thing
yeah, it's a whole thing.
that he's
It's a whole thing.
doing. But yeah, uh, all the way down to like he says that he's not doing that, and he's always had this haircut since he was like in elementary school or whatever. But like, okay, but then why'd you do the pregame cheer exactly like the pregame like rah rah stuff
Right.
right before exactly like he does it?
Right. Same sunglasses, all the things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I gotta say is I hope you bring that same energy if you ever end up playing Georgia.
Mm, yeah. I guess possible in this day and age. We'll see. Were you able to watch did you catch any other college football action on
Not
Saturday?
really. I mean, I saw we were doing so much walking around that it
Yeah.
was hard. It was hard. But I did catch a little bit of the Michigan Texas situation,
Yeah.
where Texas looked like that they just absolutely trounced Michigan, which is leading to questions about who should be number one.
Yeah, I saw some of that. I mean, the my vote goes to the team that hasn't lost a regular season game since COVID, but that's just me.
Yeah. We should get we should get the nod on that one by default since we're you know basically back to back. We're on our three-peat. We're in our three-peat era.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm all for someone else being number one when the playoff rankings come out, so Kirby can point to that as motivation, like he tends
Oh
to do.
yeah. But no, other than that, I didn't really get to most of the day was just spent talking with folks,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
walking around through the football with Carter a little bit. Which by the way, next time you see him, ask him how cornhole went with Dad.
Okay. Okay. I'll mental note taken.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I actually I watched a ton of football. I watched football. I watched the U.S. Open, women's final Saturday, and then men's final Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. Um, I had my multi TV setup going, and man, with the YouTube TV like 4 game thing, I actually had 9 games on at one point. It was kind of ridiculous. I had like 4 on my 2 small TVs, and then I had the Georgia game on the big one. So it's totally ridiculous, but there's a lot going on, and some of those afternoon games were pretty close. Like Arkansas, Oklahoma State was a good one. Was having fun watching that
Alabama
one.
was closed for a while.
Yeah, it was close until it wasn't, and then it was really not close. But yeah, L Lily and I will say, Lily went to a birthday party, but then when she got back, she stayed up with me. We were up till almost midnight just watching college football, and she got like, I think some of it is like a play to stay up. Um, like Dad's not gonna make me go to bed if I watch football with him, kind of thing. And she was all into like New Mexico State Liberty for some reason. And she was like, "Oh, this is crazy." And then like we went to bed and Sunday morning I was like, Lily, you're not gonna believe this, but New Mexico State lost. And she was like, what? She like, freaked out. But I wanted to watch Oregon Boise State because that looked like a really good game, but it was on Peacock and I don't have Peacock. So
Hmm.
didn't watch any of it. Which that one looked crazy. Came down to the wire. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of Oregon. I guess we'll still gotta wait and see, but that was interesting.
Judging judging by the SEC Shorts video, which was hilarious if you haven't seen it.
No, I have not
Um,
seen that.
you haven't seen it? All right, well, I won't spoil it. You need to watch
Okay. Okay.
you need to watch the SEC Shorts. They did a little nod to Oregon on that video.
Okay.
They actually they actually branched well outside the SEC
Okay.
for being an SEC Shorts.
College football shorts.
Yes, it's college football shorts. I feel like that's been something that's been going on like for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
yeah, it's more college football shorts at this point.
Expansion.
Expansion, yeah,
Conference expansion.
exactly.
It's reached the online videos.
I did have one part of my in-game experience that I forgot to tell you about.
Okay.
So exiting the stadium, we went down the elevator that's right by the stands there. Um, I don't know why we did that, but that's what we did. And when I asked to get out, I asked field level. And so when the lady, like, they didn't check tickets or anything like that. They just like let you out wherever you said to get out at, and then you walk out onto the concourse, and like immediately I was like, oh no, I am not where I'm supposed to be. It was like literally like underneath the stadium, and I just picked a direction, which for me, like 99% of the time, if I don't know where I'm going, I'm gonna go right. So I just hung a right, thinking that I would eventually get to the street or an exit, and just kept walking and kept walking and kept walking and kept walking, and no one stopped me. And I looked over to my left, and Carter goes, "Dad, I don't think we're supposed to be over here." I was like, "Why do you say that?" He was pointing. I look over to my left. They're doing the halftime speech with the away team, like right there.
Oh, no way. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was the away locker room was like right there. Like I could have like walked in and listened kind of thing. And then all of a sudden a security guard goes over, "Hey, you guys have yeah, you have like your credentials?" And I was like, "No, I do not have any credentials." I was like, "I'm just trying to find the exit, dude." And he goes, "Oh, well, you need to go that way."
Nice. Nice.
So I ended up going that way, but then I guess I took a different turn and still ended up where I was not supposed to be, which was the suites. They're like, I guess they have right underneath your seats is like Scott's section, but then underneath those seats is like the field level. They have like these suites over there that I didn't realize was like a thing, like the on kind of like the Atlanta United suites on field, where it's like you can just sit there and basically watch the game from the sideline kind of thing, where they have comfy seats and all that kind of stuff, which I didn't know that they had that down there, but I could have walked into one of those and just hung out apparently.
I'll have to look for that because I don't know that I remember this. I'll have to look. I'll have to look because I'm not sure that I even know what you're talking
Yeah. Now that I mention it, I kind of want to go back and look myself because yeah, I don't know what it's called like or anything like that, but yeah, we were decidedly like I feel like I walked right past a guy that was supposed to be checking tickets, and I ended up in like the suite area. Um anyway, after that we found the exit that we were supposed to find, which unfortunately meant that we had to walk all the way around the stadium to get to Morris Hall because it dropped us out basically by the Letterman's Club on the other side by River Road or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Now
So we had to
I
walk.
know where you're at. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like we walked up the ramp for like as soon as we walked outside, the away buses are right there, kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
So anyway, that was that was my venture into the bowels of Sanford Stadium.
Nice. You should have recorded the whole thing like that guy on TikTok that just like tries to walk around the stadium until he gets kicked out. I don't know if you've seen that.
He doesn't. He waits to see how long he can stay in the stadium before he gets kicked out.
Exactly. Which I guess he's doing it like not during an event. So
Yeah,
a little different, but
or he tries to see if he can get into. There's two different ones. So he has the content where he's like sees how long he can stay before he gets kicked out,
yeah.
and then he has the content where he tries to get on the field,
Mm,
in the stadium. He tries to get on the field of all of those different places, which is super interesting to me because I'm like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was so easy to get into some of these places.
Right. 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 Well, cool, man. Yeah. I don't know. Easy one on the field, like we hoped and expected. Doesn't always pan out that way. It was good to see that. And then, like I said, man, I enjoyed living vicariously through you on Saturday. That was fun.
Yes, it is fun to live vicariously when you can't be there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it was great. The drinks were flowing. It was a good vibe in the
They didn't run out of beer. They still had beer at halftime.
yes, there was plenty of beer
Okay. Because
in the coolers.
that was a big joke online when they were like they saw how many beers were going to be in the stadium. I don't know. Maybe it was so
Well,
hot and people didn't stay for the whole game, so it's probably fine.
yeah, I think that they'll probably need to measure that against a big SEC opponent.
Yeah.
I mean, notably, Rodeo and Greg were not there. I mean, I mean, those are star, those are 5-star recruits right there that we're missing out that
That's
would
right.
be that would be pulling their more than their weight there. Um, but yeah, I think that a bigger game may have a little bit of a different scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it was nice. I have to say they have it set up so I don't remember it being like this last year, mostly because my experience with the concession stands has been pretty abysmal.
Hmm.
where you're waiting in lines for forever or waiting for food that's not ready. So normally we try to eat before we go to the stadium and just get drinks. But they had when you came out onto the concourse where your seats are, there's the normal concession stands there, but then they had like I guess a quick station for drinks,
Hmm.
where you could order all sorts of drinks, non-alcoholic and alcoholic. They have similar setups at the Braves game and at Mercedes-Benz, where you can just kind of quickly go in and get a drink, and then off you go. There's no waiting for food, so it's like a drink only station. So they did
Gotcha.
have that set up, which was nice.
Yeah, I'd heard
But
there
yeah,
were some changes that had been made. So
from a game day fan experience, if you want a beer, you don't have to stand in the concession line.
gotcha.
So
Nice. Well, yeah, I look forward to getting to try that out. Uh, come Auburn game, next home game.
yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool. The other thing that I guess that this is the last thing that I'll kind of say on the game day experience. It was nice to see people again. I wasn't at the Clemson game, but it was nice to see people at the home. And we talked about this at every tailgate that I went to. And if you are a fan that complains about these games, the feedback that I would give you on that is that when the opponent isn't great, the people that you're with become that much greater.
Mm.
And to me, like that was kind of one of the things. I was also in that camp when I used to be in school, like, oh, the game sucks, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's only so many of those games that you get, and that's something Will talked about. Like, there's only
Mm.
so many of these that we get. And
Yeah.
Logan said the same thing. Like, I'm not super excited about the game. Like, I wish we were playing somewhat better, but this isn't a bad way to spend a Saturday, and I concur. So,
Yeah.
it was super super fun. If you are ever on the fence about going to a game, there's always places that you can get plugged into. We had folks that walked by the tailgates and they just stopped. You chatted for a little bit. They watched the game. They actually, in some cases, they grabbed a beer, grabbed a
Yeah.
snack, grabbed a bite, and then they went on their way, right? Like there's
Yeah.
just all sorts of ways that you can engage in the game day atmosphere, even if the opponent is awful. And then the other thing that I'll say is, shout out to the Morris Hall people, because this came up multiple times where, you know, I was struck by, how many times people talked about, not to toot our own horn, but they really appreciated our interaction, and I appreciated that because people like to listen to us talk about this stuff, and you don't the wives always made fun of us, like, do people actually listen to this? They do,
Uh,
and I
uh,
and I appreciate that.
yeah, no, it's I agree. It's always kind of wild whenever that kind of stuff comes up. Um,
Your dad made a
definitely
comment
appreciate it.
to Chuck. Chuck was one of the ones that was talking about that, and then your dad made a comment to Chuck that when you go on the YouTube page, and I haven't actually verified this, but he said when you go on the YouTube page and you look at all the preview shots, it's you and I laughing. And I was like, that's the vibe.
Yeah, but my dad and I we actually talked about that the other day.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was good times. Definitely, all along the way, I was like, yeah, I wish Jim was here. Yeah, I wish Jim was
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I had like when I got up Saturday morning, I was like, ah. With the way we had been
It,
running around, and then even all the stuff we did have going on Saturday, yeah, would have been tough.
I will say that it made me like second guess, like even if I don't have tickets moving forward, going to the games. I don't know what our baseball schedule is going to be like here coming up. Part of the reason we took advantage because we didn't have anything going on. Although he did skip his flag football game, which, by the way, I told him, I was like, they're going to win this game, and then everybody's going to make fun of me for being the quarterback and not being there, and they won.
Sorry, Carter.
That's exactly what they did.
Nice.
So his buddy was like, you can take off from flag football if you want.
That's classic.
I think they played one of the weaker teams though. So whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get up to more games. I definitely
Yeah,
it's a whole other thing to be there,
yeah, yeah.
even if we don't go to the game.
Right. Yeah. No, I love being in Athens. Hate to miss this one. Like I said, got to live vicariously through you, through everything, and I'll be there for the next one. I'll be there for the next one.
Sweet.
Cool, man. Well, we will be back later this week to preview uh first true road game uh against the Wildcats and some familiar faces. So we'll talk about that next time we chat.
Yes, sir. Well, we missed you, but it was a great day in Athens, and yeah, we'll chat about fighting the Fighting Brocs.
Nice.
Go dogs.
Go dogs.